So we're going to talk about the Ethereum fees. Is it unusable? That is a problem. However, is there a solution? So hi, welcome to the channel. If you are brand new and squeaky, fluffy, cool, happy days, subscribe, slap that like button, hit a comment in, and most importantly, press the share button. It obviously helps. So, we've got problems, boys and girls. We're back to square one with Ethereum. 2017 levels are kind of like hitting me hard in, what's that word? A little bit of remembrance of trying to send Ethereum back in those days to try and buy new assets and thinking to myself, oh, this is fucking expensive. Right, but let's talk about it. So, average as it stands right now, $4. Fucking Jesus, it's expensive. If you want to go a bit faster, spin me faster, a little bit faster obviously. Incredibly problematic. In my opinion, problematic hugely. Let's talk about it, because no matter how high Ethereum goes and the FOMO gets, and Uniswap, I'm going to come on to that in a second, the more unusable it is. You cannot send money to people and be happy with losing a lot of it. You've got to remember, if you're sending roughly like $1,000, $2,000 worth of Ethereum right now, you're going to lose at least 10%. And that is no imagination of a joke, by the way, in terms of telling you how it is. That is a problem. There's a massive bottleneck, and we know this with Ethereum. It's been a problem for a while. But rest in peace, the good old Uniswap. Look at this. Slow transactions, 23 minutes. 22 minutes, 54. But look at the fees, man. The fees are disgusting. And that's just on Uniswap right now. This tweet was from about an hour ago. So roughly 9 AM in the morning. If you're watching this video at night, it probably might be higher by this point in terms of you watching this. So Uniswap's got problems as well. Yeah, so let's talk about some issues. But moving on into Ethereum. And this is an article that was released in the start of July. And I actually tweeted this article back in the day. And I was talking quite a lot about layer 2 solutions, and there's a lot of reasonings why this is a problem, but it's now becoming very much apparent. And we've always had this echoing doubt with Ethereum that it needs its solution, and pretty fucking fast, because I always say if there's demand, there's going to be problems, and Ethereum is showing that right now. And no matter how bullish you are on Ethereum for the long term, there's one big thing about it that you need to be aware of, is market share from competitors. And we're going to talk about competitors in a second. So if you want some investment sort of guidelines in terms of, hold on a minute, what are the alternatives to Ethereum? Stick around, because you're going to probably find something very, very interesting very, very soon. But the transaction fees actually did balloon in June, right? It's now way beyond that. Way beyond that. It's like double that now in periods. And you got to look at the likes of Tron. What are Tron doing? Tron are a much cheaper network the way it works. But Ethereum is fucking miles behind. Now, cast your mind back to Blockbuster and Netflix, right? The obvious kind of adapt or die. We know what happened. Netflix adapted, Blockbuster died. Now, I know this is extreme. Sorry. But if Ethereum do not get their finger out their asses and adapt to this market being pretty much the strength that it is, I personally think Ethereum is slow in terms of the uptake of getting this sorted. The fucking things were there in 2017. CryptoKitties crashed it in 2017. This was pre-bull run as well. And like, this is the crazy thing about it. We knew all the way back in 2017 that 15 transactions per second on Ethereum would bloat the fees. It happens with Bitcoin, but Bitcoin has a layer 2 solution now. Technically, it has a Lightning network. It's able to free itself up. With Ethereum, it doesn't have that yet. It's not even changed. It's still on testnet in terms of Ethereum 2.0, and they've had bugs with that. So we have problems. We do not know how long it will take for Ethereum to get its finger out of its ass. There's tweets going on about saying 100,000 transactions within 3 years. 3 years is a long time in the crypto space. Even if it doubles its transactions per second, it's still not nowhere near as fast as other networks out there that do transactions. So with that in mind, a layer 2 solution has to be there. It has to be built. It has to be ready and working. But there isn't anything. We're talking about Bitcoin here with obviously the SegWit, Lightning Network, RSK. But the solution for Ethereum to use maybe Matic, maybe Go, maybe some of the other networks out there, it's not there yet. It isn't there. And that's the underlying issue. Layer 2 here, which would be available to run their smart contracts for at least 1 to 2 years from now, it's so behind. It is so behind. So, big problem in my opinion. When you look at the chart though, it actually looks really good. It's bullish. It's bullish as fuck, which is fine, right? But the underlying issue that we have got, and this is obvious, the more expensive Ethereum becomes, the more costly it's going to become to use it because of demand. Uniswap, all the other networks using it and currently getting a lot of adoption right now, okay, using the ERC20 token. That is a fundamental flaw. Simple as that. And the solution, you're probably asking what the solution is. The obvious solution, if you've been watching my channel over the last week, is Polkadot. Simple. The reason why I'm backing this more is not because I've sold my Ethereum and I've bought into Polkadot. It's because I believe in this more in the short term and the long term. The way this works as innovation of blockchain and using parachains, it is better than Ethereum. It allows you to connect your mainnet to this network very, very seamlessly. It also has a lot of nods to the Ethereum world with the likes of Gavin Wood in charge. But there's other networks out there as well that you could obviously turn to, and we'll come on to those in a second. But for me, there's a big bit of news coming out over the next few weeks, and you're probably going to go, oh my God, because the way this is going to work, I feel, and I personally believe this, looking at this as an investor, Polkadot has got the biggest chance, along with another one, by the way, of realistically hurting Ethereum in terms of market share. It's not so much investors that are going to lose faith with Ethereum, it's more companies, in my opinion. I think there's better networks out there for companies, big scale companies, other crypto projects that will probably not use Ethereum. Now, you're going to say one thing. First move advantage is key. It's not. It doesn't matter at all. First move advantage only works if you are delivering all the time. Going back to Blockbuster and Netflix, what happened? Yeah. Look at some of the big worldwide companies out there that have been around for hundreds of years, but have actually died when the technology age came up. Look at Woolworths, for example, in the UK. It didn't adapt at all. It didn't do anything at all. There's a lot of other companies out there that have died because they did not adapt with the times. Very, very similar to cryptocurrency. What do we need in cryptocurrency more than anything? Scale. Why? We're an innovative, growing market in its early inception. We cannot have something incredibly slow that is designed as an ecosystem to run multiple chains on it. It doesn't work. Polkadot does though. That's the difference. So with that in mind, we're looking at a 6 billion market capitalization on Polkadot right now at the time of recording. Ethereum is about 53 billion. There is a huge chunk and a huge gap to make up there, but I think that is totally possible because I feel that the bigger these fees become, the more harder it is to become obviously using and sending Ethereum, especially the likes of Uniswap, to be able to trade it. People are not going to do it, but there's something coming out very, very soon. And this is the first article. This was released on the 27th. Protocols of protocols. Polkadot is weeks away from releasing its first viable bridge to the Ethereum blockchain. This is huge. This is massive. It will be rolling out in phases and should be production ready by March 2021. Phase 1, working demo 2 weeks, a two-way transfer of assets from the Ethereum to the testnet and back. So this will allow you to use the Ethereum network with Polkadot. Fuck. You know, people in Ethereum's office might be going, oh shit, because if they can bypass their own network that is slow as fuck, why would you invest in Ethereum, in my opinion, when you've got this as a solution? You can use it. Already, you've got one of the tokens out there, KLP, currently on Uniswap right now, using a similar sort of ilk of system where they're using a derivative token, but you can get it on the Uniswap network, which is, may I add, Ethereum. Oh, so there's all kinds of ways to bypass this using a much better blockchain. So when you look at this, DOT has been around for a while in reality, but it's very much a new thing in the offing. But when you compare, like even this one here, the same article, the new Polkadot to Ethereum bridge could enable cross-chain DeFi. This is gonna really make things echo around a room in the Ethereum, also knowing that this is a genuine thing. Now, people will probably say it's bullish for Ethereum, but I don't see it. You know, when you think Ethereum and how it works, it's all tied within Ethereum as it stands right now. There's no cross-chain interoperability with other chains using Ethereum as itself. However, when you look at the likes of Polkadot allowing you to use the biggest blockchain, which is at the minute in terms of scale of like assets on it, for example, is Ethereum right now. But that then allows it, but while moving important part of it, the vision of the bridge is to generalize to be as generalized as possible, including sharing small pieces of state from one chain to the other. Put simply, the bridge will let Ethereum smart contracts send instructions and information to Polkadot and the same reverse even. That is like massively important, because you think those small little transactions of data cost a lot of money when you're using the Ethereum network. So this is absolutely massively bullish for Polkadot, to allow anyone using that blockchain to simply interact with the Ethereum blockchain, which as it stands right now is hard to interact with because it's too expensive. That's just the bottom line. So this is huge. Obviously, the likes of integration with Polkadot, that is massively important to allow the two-layer solution for Ethereum dApps. It's going to bypass the chain. And you can think of it this way as well. Ethereum's going to have, we all know they already have them, a lot of companies on their blockchain. What if those chains don't get used because they'll still be on the Ethereum blockchain, but they're going to use the scaling solution Polkadot's going to give them? So where will your money go? Will it go into the beast, or will it go to the engine room? In my opinion, it'll go in the engine room, which will be Polkadot. That is where I think the gains will be, because it's allowing Ethereum to manage itself. But when you think of it in terms of who's going to get the volume, who's going to get the use case, who's going to get the prestige of actually we rescued Ethereum, it'll be Polkadot, easily. Because if that's 2 or 3 years time away from them actually doing it on their own as Ethereum, well, that's a big massive like problem. And you got to think, well, that gap, and I'm going to put it on here now, this gap here of 51 or nearly 52 billion right now. Actually, I'll hit the refresh button. Let's see if it has changed or anything. Let me just kind of, oh, it has. So when you look at this, right, and then you look at the 6 billion in terms of Polkadot, that bridge and that gap is going to be made up. In my opinion, it's going to be definitely made up, because Polkadot are going to be the ones essentially running Ethereum, technically, in that sense, with that bridge, allowing the communication between multiple assets on that network. But just to end this video, in terms of an other alternative, you've obviously got the main one. You've got Cardano, which is still sitting there at roughly 4 billion market cap. Now, when you compare the likes of Polkadot and the likes of Ethereum, and then you've got obviously Cardano, you've got so many out there that could realistically harm Ethereum, but they've actually came from within Ethereum. When you think about it, the Charles Hoskinson, Gavin Wood, right? They've both been in the belly of Ethereum. They've obviously done their own thing. That is a massive, interesting thing to keep an eye on. So let's talk about it. Comment below what you think. I personally think that Cardano, Polkadot, solid investments versus Ethereum right now. Ethereum is the beast, right? I think it will get slayed, in my opinion. I think there'll be a massive chunk of market capitalization taken off Ethereum due to its lack its lack of speed and even the lack of rollout of allowing that speed to happen. There's big issues for the use case here. So when you compare though that bridges can be made between Polkadot to allow Ethereum to run properly, that's just screaming that this is going to go up in price, because many people will take note of that, and it will probably harm Ethereum more than anything.